Hi everyone, it's me, Sailor Moon, Serena, and it's me, Sailor Saturn, Sailor Ringworld Guitar here. And today we're going to talk about the name sheet, driver sheet, overstep sheet deal, oversight that should have never been an oversight on Euro to begin with. Now, why would Euro even come up with something like that? Well, they had to come up with some way to stop folks from lying about how old they were, and they didn't know how to go by doing it. I mean, they already had the year gated thing where you set up, where they either set up or someone, the uploader sets up year gated films that have to show you're 8 between years of old or older to watch it. But I guess there were folks that could lie about being that, you know. And I guess there are folks who could lie about, anything. So they didn't know what to do. And they brainstormed a lot of thoughts here of what to do. And the one thing they came up with, ask for their driver's deal, their name sheet, their step sheet. If somehow, some way, if they learn that someone is younger and lied about how old they were. Now, at first, you might think to yourself, oh yeah, that would work. But no, it didn't work due to it not following Gather withdrawal laws and even Reich withdrawal laws as well. So Euro got themselves in a bind for doing that. Because I don't think it would have worked anyway at all. I mean, don't they know that a lot of, like, how young do you have to be before you get your first name sheet? I don't know. I know in some Reichs you have to be 8 between years old or maybe even 6 between years old before you can start taking driving classes and get your driver's deal. I don't know how old someone has to be to get a step deal. As far as a name sheet goes, I don't know. But anyway, it wasn't going to work. Folks weren't going to stand for it. And they weren't going to give over that kind of thing about themselves that they already did when they made their reckonings. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it anymore. It's not even a thing anymore. Yeah, and then knowing them, they'll either learn from this or they'll brainstorm some other way to learn who's being truthful about being grown up and who's a kid and a betweener and who's lying about being one or the other. But I don't think I don't think they're going to do anything like this again. So that's why I said I wasn't worried about it, because I knew it wasn't going to work. That someone was going to make a thing out of it, and I guess enough folks did that Youway got themselves in a lawful bind, had to yield a fee for not following Gather withdrawal laws and all the Reich withdrawal laws. So that's why I wasn't worried about it. Were you worried about it, Taru, or were you not? No, I wasn't worried about it because I knew at the end of the day that there were Gather withdrawal laws and Reich withdrawal laws, and somehow they would get in a bind with it sooner or later. Someone would send feedback, someone would somehow get a hold, and somehow folks would reach out to the Gather, Reich, Sheeran, Near High Divers, and other newbies and their lawyers. And there would have been law works, and it would have been dropped, which it was. And some folks might think, well, how are they going to come up with a way to know who's being truthful and who's not being truthful about how old they are to be on their website, to watch things, they upload things? I don't know. But I know this isn't going to be the answer. Will they have to put a new thing for folks in the upcoming when logging in that besides just here's your step, here's your step word, here's your inner wire, or here's your pass, here's your step key. Well, now you got to give your month, date, and year. Now, I know some folks out there would say that wouldn't fly over because they already gave that out when they made their Google reckonings or they made their Euro reckonings or whatever. So even that wouldn't work. You know? So whatever they come up with next, it isn't going to be, those are not, going to be the answer to it. So no, I wasn't worried about it at all. And no one should be worried about it anymore. And if they still are, well, don't worry about it. It wouldn't have worked anyway. Make a tool that goes through and looks at everyone's films and how old when they made a Google reckoning and the Euro reckoning and what their month, date, and year was and a bunch of other shit, to come up, what films they watched and what they uploaded, and then come up with a guess that someone had to be a kid or a betweener or a grown-up or whatever. So I don't really think we have to worry about that. And if someone is still worried about it, they don't have to be. Because at the end of the day, we knew it wasn't going to fly. We knew it wasn't going to work out. So I wasn't worried about it. Well, that's good to know, Ataru. Good to know, Sailor Saturn. Good to know, Sailor Ringworld. Because at the end of the day, there most likely will still be folks worried about it. Or still folks thinking that Youway didn't get handicapped enough from having to yield a fee for not following GABA withdrawal laws and all the 50 right withdrawal laws, because that's what it would have been as well. And I guess settling withdrawal laws too. Well, it is what it is. So anyway, give this film a like, share and playlist it, and we'll see you later.